everyone, Art Gramaje here, and this is the podcast entitled Art and Soul. Get it? Heart and soul. Get it? Art and soul. Thanks for tuning in. Well, let's see, where to start? I had a wonderful week last week. I got to escape 10265 Renton Avenue South, Seattle, Washington, and go visit the fine folks of Bellingham, Washington. I want to publicly thank Pastor Jeffrey Moore in using his guest room at the rectory at Assumption Parish up in Bellingham. I wanted to take quiet/retreat days, but outside of a retreat center. I generally go to the Benedictine monastery down in Lacey, St. Martin's Abbey, because I totally enjoy the Benedictines and their gift to the church and just hooking into their prayer, their communal prayer. But I decided to switch things up this year. So went up to Bellingham and just existed outside of being here, taking care of my mother. And it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. A gift. Made me realize a couple things in contrast, I suppose. How readily I can sleep when I don't have to have half an ear listening to see if mom needs me during the night. If you've listened to past recordings, podcasts that I've done, I'm not good being awakened at night. I guess I'm maybe a naturally sound sleeper, but I slept so well. Maybe it was the bed. I don't know. It was a nice, firm bed. So that's one thing. It's just different mindset, I guess. Here, the mindset is, okay, mom needs me, or she's wrestling around, or she's trying to get out of her hospital bed, or whatever. And there it was just sleep until you wake up. So that was really wonderful. Another thing is I decided to go and visit my alma mater, Western Washington University. Go Vikings! And I had a moment. It was funny. I laughed to myself out loud. So I go up to the Viking Union, which is kind of the gathering place and place where the bookstore is and people get bites to eat and etc. And I get a cup of coffee. I look over Bellingham Bay, gorgeous day. Watch some students playing ping pong. And as I walked out of the Viking Union, there was just a lot of young people. Boy, they look like kids these days. But some of the guys are just huge. I don't know what they put in those chemical food these days, but it seems like they're genetically much larger. Nonetheless, the good student energy. Some were waiting for the buses. Some were waiting in line at the food truck, and many were just passing through, passing by. It's a very busy area right outside of the Viking Union. And I was sensing the youthful energy and taking it in. They shared it with me, yes. And then a worker was walking by, maybe to get lunch, and I just thought to myself in the back of my head, just a brief moment, thought, oh, an older guy, an old guy. And then I stopped and said, wait a second. That old guy's like in his late 40s, mid 40s maybe. Then it occurred to me, I am the old guy here. I'm the one who has no business in this area. It was a wonderful moment. Reality check, but I just totally enjoyed it. Yes, Western Washington University was another lifetime ago, and I appreciate it very differently now, obviously. Don't want to go back to that era, um, but it was nice to visit. And I sat across the Viking Union after taking a bunch of pictures. So if you're on Facebook, you can look at some of the pictures that I took up there in Bellingham. But I sat down amongst the old growth pines. Trees have great energy. I enjoy sitting amongst the trees. And I just took it in. Across the street is almost like the polar opposite of in front of the Viking Union. That side of the street, very few people walk. Very few people stop and stay. And from afar, you can see the activity in front of the Viking Union. So that was a quiet moment, energetically quiet moment with my new tree friends. I guess they're old friends who I haven't visited in a long time. So there you have that. On the way out of campus, I'm driving down Garden Street, for those of you who know Bellingham. And I'm driving down Garden Street and I see this big sign that says Viking Catholic. Viking Catholic. And I think to myself, oh, that is the campus ministry. That is Catholic campus ministry spot now. So, providentially, I found a parking spot right near there. And I walked in and was greeted wonderfully by a young adult who I later found out her name was Madeline, and she's one of the quasi-staff there. She's a missionary who ministers to campus folk, especially the students. And I met the director. I think she's actually the co-director, Trish. And I had a great conversation with Trish. And it was reminding me how much I miss ministry, full-time ministry, as a Catholic priest, as a Claretian. So that was a realization throughout the trip after that. That was the first day. So coming back, I think it started on the drive back. I had this feeling, sense that I didn't want to come back. That I really want to get back into ministry, full-time Catholic, Claretian, priestly ministry. I've come to accept, just because I've been doing it for years now, this mother ministry. I'm here because I have to be. My mother needs me. And to me, there are no other options, choices. So in a lot of ways, it's been a cross, been a challenge, a difficulty. But it's challenged my general philosophy or theology of life, that the Spirit works through all things. The Spirit works through the cross. And I've tried to be as patient as I possibly can. I think by nature I'm not a very patient person, which is one of my defects, sins, whatever you want to call it. And it leads to me becoming frustrated. Whereas just letting go and accepting what is happening, since I have no control over it, would lead to a more harmonious life. But I just stayed with that feeling, not wanting to come back, knowing that I'm going to come back. So there was a discordant transition of being as I was coming back here to Seattle. So that's what the retreat / quiet time / escape time brought me. There's more. Maybe I'll talk about that later, because there were many other blessings. But that's what I would like to just share today with Art and Soul. I'm back. I'm back home. Thank you so much for listening, whoever you are and wherever you are. I pray for God's abundant grace to invade your hearts and minds, and profound blessings upon you and your family. Please pray for me and my mother, and know that these intentions to God and the universe are my intentions for you too.